Okay, I'm about to do another video, and in this video we're going to lay out this tie, which is actually a teddy bear tie. One of the, which I think is the easiest ways to lay out a pattern is actually by using the measurements of that pattern and the caliper tool. And what we're going to do now is we're going to measure this piece here, and then we're going to create this piece over here. It's kind of skewed a little bit, and we're going to create another pattern like it with it being perfectly vertical. So let's get started. The height and width of the first point to the second point. And I'm going to drag the layout tool, and we're going to just offset to the right and then down with that piece. And you know what? I'm just going to put that back because I didn't create a new point, and we're going to do that. So we'll click this blue button here, which will create a new point, and you won't see the new point. And what you want to do is you just want to click over and down. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take the caliper tool, and we're going to measure the height to the next point here, which is this point here at the mid of the tie. We also want to measure halfway point here, because when we send our point down, then we're going to send it over, but we want to send it over from where it is now. So we want to go from there, and because this is tilted a little bit, and rotate, click on the inside of the dial. Oops, that's a little bit too much. All right, so that we got better resolution. So we'll just click on this, and we'll go to 200%, and we'll click right here in the inside of the dial here. Okay, that's pretty close to the angle I want. And now we can use the remote to drag or pan down the drawing. I'm going to just measure the offset distance a little more accurately than before because we got the right angle now. And from there to the center, we'll go to the center now, we'll just drag that over where it is now. And we want to go that far. And we'll just click the blue button. Now what we're going to do is, let me just move the tools out off to the side here, is we're going to send that down and over. There we go. Do the next point. So let's create a strategy for that one. So we'll just, first let's get the vertical distance we want to go. We want to go from this is where the new point is, where we were. So we can actually line that up, and this one's an easy one. So about there. See if you project that through here, and you can actually slide the tool back and forth like that to get a really accurate reading on that one. And then we're just going to send that one down and over. There we go. And for the point of the tie, let's do that one now. Matter of fact, let's create the point first this time. So click on that, and now we have 0.5. We'll pan back over here, and we're going to now offset that point. Actually, we'll set the point right there. That's the dot right on the point. And we'll just go to there. And then we move the top of the caliper down. And there's our offsets for the next point that we actually previously created. So we can just go ahead and shoot that down and back over. We just do the same thing, but we can actually use the measurements. Let's just set this to straight up and down. And what we're going to do is we're going to actually use the measurements that we have already, which in this case we already set that one, so we can now put the next point here. So we'll go ahead and we'll create 0.6 now. And there's 0.6 control point on our pattern block, which allows it to size later on. So now what we're going to do is we're going to send that point over and up, and just measure. You can line up your guidelines there, and there's the height of it. And we'll slide that down to the actual correct location. Pull that over, and there's our width. We're going to create another point, which should be 0.7 now in this block that we're creating. And we send it, let's center that better, and then we just we send it up, over, and let's move that down. And as you can see, I'm still panning around using this remote tool, which is really handy because you can get right in and look at your pattern block as you're creating it. So the next point, of course, and this would be actually the last piece, or the last point for this block, will go right here in this location. So we're going to, again, we're going to create point number 8 now. So it'll be total 8 points, control points in this block, this pattern block that we're creating, template. Now we're going to, this is the corner here where the caliper tool is, and we'll just bring that in there. Move the remote, and then we can actually set it back to the zoom in ratio we had before. And now we're going to measure from this point up to here where it lines up with its sister point, and the offset from that point to here, and move the remote out of the way there, and we will send that point up and over, and that's that finishes that point. Actually, now though, I'm gonna look at it a little bit. It needs to be wider here if you look at the original. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure this here. That's probably why, because it was off angled. I've got this one and it needs to be a bit wider there. So what we're going to do is we're going to measure from here to there. And it reads out here that the X is 1.06 wide. And let's just measure and see what it is here, so that we know what the difference is. So that measurement is 0.88. So 1.06, that'd be 0.24, and then 0.12 would be the offset we need to do if you do quick math in your head. And let's just see if that's right. I just did that in my head, so we'll see if we're correct about that measurement. And so we have that point selected, which you can do in the remote. You can select the point you want just by clicking the numbers here. So we're back to point 8, and now what we're going to do is we got it set to point 12. We'll just zip that over a little bit, and then we'll go back to the point that we need to set that one over, and then we'll just shift that point over a bit. And there, now we've now got the exact width that we need for the tie at that point. That's how you create a pattern piece using the layout tool and the remote. Try that with your designer. Thanks, and bye for now.